Hey everyone, welcome to another weekly review. I think it's finally time to go short, boys. It was a crazy fucking week. Haven't seen anything like it, I think, since the GameStop squeeze days. Like we opened the week with the dump in healthcare, like UNH stuff, and like minus 20% again on all those names that healthcare insurance. Then we had some earnings. We had that squeeze in silver, like the day where it went crazy and the put value increased in spite of it going plus 14%. And with hindsight, that was the moment where should have went short big. But now I know. Then we had the Meta and Microsoft earnings divergence. One went up 10%, the other one went down 10% or more. And this has a very first general to fall kind of look for Microsoft. And like if Microsoft is not doing well and the market does not think this is a good stock to be long and they're dumping it like that, there is no reason for Meta to go up. There is no reason for any other of them to go up. And we finally closed the week with the silver dump and the metals dump. Minus 40% in a single day is fucking crazy. Minus 20, 32 at the lows and close minus 28. And all of this, and we closed the week positive. So SPY was positive for the week, just barely, plus 0.047%. And this is not a candle that was up big. We're basically, let's, we're basically at half of the candle, just a minor rejection here. It's fucking incredible. Even Q's was just flat. Q's was minus 0.10%. Unfucking believable that all of this happened, all this volatility, all this craziness in a single week, and we're barely down on the index level. VIX is up like what 8%, but again nothing and got faded, got rejected. This is pretty fucking crazy. But all this being said, all the planets are aligning. Brett is rolling over, and this is a telltale sign of things about to go down in a big way, or not necessarily a big way. I'll explain in a second. But basically, everything is there. Like even this is the custom breadth indicator we have, and in spite of market staying high, it's rolling over. You can see it better here. Uh, and it is very rarely going down like this at the top without price going down. So it's somewhat correlated with price, obviously, but the only few times where this has happened and it has gone down in the same way, like here, is right before a big drop, or right before a drop. Let's not call it big yet, or here, or that's kind of it. There are probably more, but like here as well. You get the point. So Brett is rolling over. I finished doing the flow review for yesterday, like 30 minutes ago, and I posted stuff. And it's full on bear porn here, like Apple with a huge short call roll. So this was the short call. They were short on October 31st, and they just took profits here and rolled everything into not everything, but 90 million into this into 240. And Apple looks like shit. I mean, let me go back to the default. Could really see it doing this like a head and shoulders here and going to 200. We had the MicroStrategy and Coin Whales rolling short calls as well. Like this was rolled into 49. So this was rolled into this and this was rolled into this. So another like 30 something million. MicroStrategy Whale also rolled the full amount, 67 million. Basically took profits on half of this. This is like 140 million. They took profits for 50% here and rolled the whole thing, 67 million, into 140p, which is out of the money. In the money, sorry, this is in the money. So, and this is not just it, like everything ARK, lots of put rolling, Google some puts as well, SPXW, SMH would puts, QQQ would puts, and this look quite interesting because even though we haven't really gone down a lot, this is accumulation. Basically, we started accumulating here, and we see like OI increasing every day, slightly, and then accelerating. And this is basically they're getting into a short position over a longer period of time. And all the Qs puts have this kind of look and accelerating like things here. And if price hasn't really gone down or for puts down that much there anyway. So yeah, this is the look we see. This is TQQQ, which is ultra long ultra pro QQQ, and we've seen in the past couple of weeks this slightly in the money calls, which are almost always short, and we have a very big position, which is 9 million for this, uh, and it's very likely a short call here as well. The only thing that looks okay, XLF would put as well, is USO. The question is here is, and oil in general, is whether this will translate into oil stocks. Because if the market starts rolling over and goes down, we could see oil stocks also go down, but also remain a safe haven kind of thing because it has direct exposure to oil. Now, on top of this, obviously, all the fucking fake breakdowns, fake breakouts, fake moves everywhere with Bitcoin. Like I got fooled by this one hard. I thought we would be moving higher and didn't. Like we dumped, and I think it's going lower now that we have the MicroStrategy and Coin Whales on board as well. Like I said, then we have DXY, which broke down and then didn't and recovered. Like on the weekly, huge hammer candle reversal. On the monthly it saved it, so we didn't close below this level, and it was the last day of the month basically. So next, this is how the monthly candle closed. And like I was saying, oil breakout as well, like oil, and let me turn on moving averages. So we're back above the 200 moving average this week. We pushed through it strongly. Again, we tried to go down but didn't. We are above the long trigger on the yearly. Crazy fucking things are happening, man. And like I said previously, my thesis is that everything is actually a short dollar play. And the thesis was when oil starts going up, the dollar will start going up as well. And we have the perfect condition for DXY reversal. When the dollar goes up, everything breaks. So perfect storm of everything coming together. Uh, if Trump does something over the weekend in Iran, oil will blow up even more. And I think DXY will follow. So this is the setup. Now, looking back at some other stuff, we have the correlations with previous years, and I think this one is still playing out perfectly. And the only quote unquote risk with this getting short here is that we might just chop for another week or so, like all of this week, potentially, maybe even a bit more into the second week of February, just to fuck everyone over. Basically, it fucks over bears, it fucks over bulls. Everyone becomes very frustrated. I know I am frustrated with all this market going nowhere and being very very swingy. Like when we look at Finvi, sorry. This was yesterday. Only staples were okay. Some oil stuff. But on the 1 week performance, like all over the place, or on the yearly performance, we have the, oh no, not 1 year to date. Basically have MU and SNDK and some semi names going crazy. Uh, these are okay as well. Oil is okay as well. Banks are not okay, but every day like random shit happening, like very wild moves and big moves in anything. Like when they go up big. When they go down, they go down big. that kind of thing. Even SNDK got super faded yesterday, so this was up. It closed plus 685, but this was up how much? 25% at the top, 25.48 at the top. And at some point near the close, like this was like 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the close, it faded completely. Like it went from plus 25% to flat or even negative slightly at one point. And again, in spite of impressive earnings and whatnot. But all of this is a precursor of things breaking and going lower. Now, uh, aside from the one from the XPX correlation with the 2007 setup, which potentially predicts another week or so of sideways of this same action, like going nowhere, index staying relatively pinned until we eventually roll over and do the move to 6500. We also have, I think, a similar setup to what we saw in September 2021. It's not identical, obviously, but basically we dropped like 6-7%, 6% here, and then rallied 10%. And I think it's going to be identical here. And the reason why that is because there are a lot of names that are beaten down, like all the semi names, like Adobe, not semi names, sorry, software names, Adobe. We had SAP this week with a earnings dump. Again, it was super oversold, but still dumped like 20%, what 16%. Even in that condition, we have Netflix, which is still threatening to go lower and maybe will go like all the way here to like 70. This would be my ideal buy point. And in spite of being down so much, they're still threatening to go lower. And when this kind of thing happens, it's like a crash leg. If we look at the market, we don't crash from the top. Like we crash from oversold. I'm gonna so the crash in 2008, for example, didn't happen from the top. We were already down in a downtrend and going lower and everything like that. It's very often that uh, when a big move down happens, it's because we break support when we were not supposed to break support. And this is a crash leg. And the market was already at lows, like we were down 23%, and then we went down another 50% from that level. Like we're not 50% from there, or 40%, 45%. 45% from this level where the breakdown happened, not even from that. If we do it all the way, it's 67% from top to bottom. So this is the kind of thing, the setup we have going for many of these names. Like I'll take like we saw in SAP. In spite of being super oversold, we still had a crash leg going and it can go even lower here. So I wouldn't be surprised like if the market becomes weak, like I predicted, that we go to like 137, 140. Same from Microsoft. Like Microsoft was already down or recovered a bit, it went down. And I think it's quite possible that we go like 375, 360, something like this over the next couple of weeks. Now, this sounds really, really bad, but it's also the reason why we cannot go too low too much. Because all of this has happened with everything going down, or not everything. Many, many names, especially software, going down like this. They cannot go down much lower, like, or how should I phrase this? They can go down lower. Like they can go down lower even 30%, 40%, something like this. Let's take Adobe as an example. So we are here. What would it take to go to this low? This is 40%. It's plausible that it does this leg down when the market is weak. So this all goes away, goes away, goes away. So let's assume the market, it does a crash leg and it does this crash leg and it's 30%. But when it does this 30% leg, because this is likely what's going to happen, we go super extreme oversold and market is at all-time high here. So if the market would roll over and drop like 6-7% as it would be required for to get 6500, these names will get obliterated once again. And this is basically why, but they will get obliterated into super extreme oversold condition in which everyone will take profits on shorts and stuff like that. So the market will only go down like 6,500, like we see in the SPX correlation here approximately, like we see in the one that is a correlation of the September drop. So basically this is the one I put there is this drop here in September 2021. And the market will get super oversold and get to 6,500 around here, and then we bounce, and it would become a very short cover rally, and it will move very quickly, very fast, and up. My suggestion is not to go short, is just to wait for this to happen. It's very simple, and then long it, and we will make a lot of money longing this into like 72, 7300s, maybe even 7500 later in the year. And then the big actual correction that could potentially become a bear market comes somewhere in May, June. And that one is likely to go very hard. Again, not it's likely to go very hard, not 100%. The only thing that is very sure to happen is this leg here. This part here is uncertain. I don't know if we will get it, but this one is very likely that we will get, and it will be like, I don't know, 15%, 16%. So we go down to 6,500, and it can happen at any point in the next week or so. Like the window of really turning and rolling over big is this week until the next 2 weeks. It depends what Trump does. It depends what happens with Iran, that kind of thing. I think if he starts bombing Iran or something like that, anything that the market perceives as war, it will cause oil spike. It will cause dollar spike. It will dump the market immediately. If we're still fucking around and doing nothing, eventually it will run out of steam. Every push higher will get sold, and so on. We still have other mega cap earnings with Amazon, Nvidia will be coming up later, and so on. But that's it. It doesn't really matter at this point. So we go down to 6,500. We have a huge 10% rally going to 72 or 75, 72 first, probably some sideways, then 75, and eventually we start a 15, 16% correction. That could be the beginning of a bear market. We don't know yet, but the 15% in May, June is very likely, in my opinion. And after that, we'll see when we get there. This is it for now. I don't want to speculate on anything more. On the crypto side, again, with the confirmation from the MicroStrategy and the coin short whales, this is definitely going lower. It's moving much faster. My safety with considering Bitcoin was that this showed that it will happen much later. Like again, toward in the first or second week of February, and I thought we would have time and maybe they move higher, but they didn't. Now things are moving faster, so this has to be compressed more. Uh, Maybe 75k and we get a bounce, but again, I don't see them going uh, up anytime soon. I'm gonna respect the short whales when I see them closing the position and not rolling any longer. I think that's the moment where to go long on crypto. Uh, I loaded up on some oil stocks. Hopefully those protect my portfolio. I'm mostly cash, like 60% cash, and I'm gonna probably get some shorts, some puts on the market next week, just as protection for like April. And then with being at least 50% cash, I'll wait for that dip buy at 6,500 around this area. It's either gonna be 6,500 SPY or Q's 580. So when either of that happens, it doesn't. We don't know how things will rotate, which is stronger, which is weaker, and so on. So it's going to be either 50, 580 on Qs or 650 on SPY. If any of those happen, you can go long. That's kind of my prediction. So this is the plan. I hope it helps you guys. Uh, yeah, this is my best guess. Have a good one. Bye bye.